Hello everyone, my name is Dylan Lee. I'm the founder of the IWRO, Irish Wildman Research Organisation, and today in this video I'm going to be giving my own thoughts on the famous 1967 Patterson footage, filmed in Bluff Creek, California on October 20th, 1967. Now when I first seen the Patterson footage, it was actually in a Bigfoot documentary I watched, and I was watching the Bigfoot documentary and it actually showed the Patterson footage. And at the time, I didn't think too much of it at the time. I kind of looked at it as if I was watching any other random Bigfoot footage video. Maybe it's real, maybe it's not. I didn't know. So, anyway, afterwards, I started to do a lot more research into Bigfoot. I started to look at photos of Bigfoot. I started to study the phenomenon, things like that. I started to, study a lot more about it, look at other Bigfoot footages. And there were some footages I came across that you could easily spot out they were hoaxes. And then there was other footages that was interesting, but I wasn't too sure. Then there was these other footages that the footage was all blurry, the figure was all blurry. You can't make out what it is. It could be anything. Could be a guy in a ghillie suit. Could be a guy in a monkey suit, Bigfoot suit. Could be a bear on two legs blurred out. It could be possibly anything, So with those kind of footages, I don't like labeling or saying it's Bigfoot, because if I can't make out what I'm seeing, or if I can't see any features in it, I'm not gonna label it. I could say possibility, 50-50, but 9 times out of 10 it's going to be probably more likely hoaxes. Guy in a suit, you could put a guy in a suit, blur it out, and say it's a Bigfoot. But if I can't see what I'm looking at, and if I can't make it get any features, I ain't gonna say it's a Bigfoot, and I ain't gonna believe it's a Bigfoot. I gotta see good footage, and I gotta actually see footage that's not blurry, that's not shaky. So anyway, after going through all these footages and stuff like that, like between the interesting footages, the hoaxing footages, and the blurry crap quality videos footages, I decided to look back at the Patterson footage. And when I looked back at the Patterson footage, I said to myself, this probably is the best footage, because of all other footages I've looked at, this is probably one of the best. It probably still is the best, because you can actually see a figure in it. You can see the height of the creature. You can see the eyes, the nose, the mouth. You can see the way it walked, things like that. You can actually make out some good features in the actual creature, unlike all the other videos that you can't see anything that could be possibly anything. So anyway, I looked at the footage again, Patterson footage. I looked at the stop motion version, the enhanced version, and many other versions, whatever versions they make. But I looked at all the versions anyway of it. Color increased, quality increased, enhanced, all of it. So I looked at each one of them, and I actually noticed a lot more than I actually probably didn't notice the first time. And the way it walked like a non-human. It just walked so fluently, and stuff like that. And the way it walked, like with the knees are bent, So, and humans don't walk with their knees bent like that, at a certain angle. Humans have, when they walk, their knees are and legs are straight. This thing, when it walked, its knees are bent, and that was kind of very interested me. That did, and stuff like that. I also started to notice the muscle definition in the back, in the legs, in the neck, the big cone-shaped heads, the big nose, the two eyes, the mouth, the breasts hanging down. You could just notice so much detail, so much, if you look at the enhanced versions, or if you do your own enhanced version, you could just see so much more than the actual normal footage, So after checking it all out again and researching it more and listening to the story behind it and stuff like that, and what led up to the footage and stuff like that, I started saying to myself, maybe this footage actually is real. Maybe this is the best real Bigfoot footage ever, you know. So then, when I researched the hoax end of the Patterson footage, I heard about people coming out saying they were the guy in the suit, and some of those people didn't even know where the film site was, which kind of made me laugh, you know. Then I heard about Bob Hieronymus and Philip Morris. Bob Hieronymus claims he was the guy in the suit that day, and years later, Philip Morris and Bob Hieronymus made a replica suit of what supposedly Bob Hieronymus was wearing on October 20th, 1967. And yeah, the suit, yeah, it was good. You know, it was okay looking. You know, I seen the footage and the pictures of him actually in the suit, and it just, you know, it just wasn't the same. It was a failed recreation. It wasn't the same as the normal footage. Bob Hieronymus, yeah, he could do a good imitation of the walk, but you know, anyone can. You know, people that say, oh, the walk cannot be imitated, you know, in my opinion, yes, the walk can be imitated, and it just kind of takes some kind of person or someone with a good athletic background to actually get that kind of walk. You know what I mean? The walk can be practiced, and in my opinion, it can be imitated. But the walk also doesn't make it like just because you can imitate the walk, it doesn't make it not real, you know. But anyway, Bob Hieronymus was on a TV show, I believe, called Lie Detector, and he actually was put to the test to actually he was asked, was he the guy in the suit, and to see did he pass the lie detector test, and he did. He passed the lie detector test. So they told him he was telling the truth, but like, come on, like, you know, I ain't gonna believe he was the guy in the suit because a lie detector test said he was, you know. Those lie detector tests can be easily, you know, faked, you know. You could easily fake them, you know, lie them and stuff like that, you know. You could easily do it, you know, because it depends on your pulse and emotion and stuff like that, you know. So if you go in with an open mind and, you know, a steady heart, and you go in, you stay calm and all, you know, you just go through it, you know. Like, the lie detector tests can also fail, you know. They can also get things wrong and stuff like that, so they can be easily faked, you know. So I'm not going to believe he was the guy in the suit because some lie detector test said he was, you know. So anyway, my personal opinion on Bob Hieronymus and Philip Morris is they're a fraud, you know. I don't think they had nothing to do with the Patterson footage, you know. That's my personal opinion, you know. I think Bob Hieronymus is a fraud as well as Philip Morris, you know. They're probably just doing it to make money, and probably just to get attention by the news media, get attention by the Bigfoot community. I do not know why, but they're fraud in my opinion. Anyway, moving on. The Patterson footage. Second time around I watched it, I was, as I said earlier on in the video, I was very intrigued, you know. I was shocked. A lot more detail. But anyway, creature walks up through the woods upstream, and looks towards the camera on the famous 352 frame. And some people say that because it looks towards the camera, that's the money shot right there. You know, that kind of gives it away. That's a hoax. You know, my personal opinion on that is it's not always the case, because if a Bigfoot wants to stay elusive from a human, or a human wanted to stay elusive from a Bigfoot or some type of creature, and if the human encounters what it wants to stay elusive from, it's going to be nervous, it's going to be scared, you know, so it's going to walk away or run away. But at the same time, you're going to keep an eye on what you've encountered. So I think that Patty looked back to see what Roger and Bob were doing that day, you know, to see whether they were running after it, to see what they were doing, whether they trying to shoot it, or, you know, things like that, you know. But I think that's what happened. I think Patty looked, turned his head, and walked off. That's what I believe Patty did. But not only that, like as much as like real it looks and how amazing the figure and the being and the animal looks, it looks so real. Like it doesn't look like a guy in a suit. But it's not only the way it walks. It's not only the muscle definition. It's not only the height, the width. It's also the characteristics of it as well. When it's very animal-like. It's very human-y, ape, primate, animal-like. The way it's acting and stuff like that. But my opinion is, I think there's more to the Patterson footage than some people actually think. I think I don't think the female Sasquatch just walked out behind a tree or out behind a bush and just walked up the hill and got away. I personally think that there was a family there that day. I think there was the female Sasquatch, there was the male Sasquatch, and there was the juvenile Sasquatch. And I believe that the female Sasquatch, known as Patty, I believe she walked out to lay a distraction to Roger and Bob, while the male, and the juvenile Sasquatch relocate somewhere else. So Patty walks up the stream, distracts Roger and Bob, and by distracting Roger and Bob, that would give time for the male and juvenile Sasquatch to relocate before it was spotted by Roger and Bob. Before they were spotted by Roger and Bob. That's what I actually think that happened. That's my possible theory. And I'm sure people agree with me on that. And then I'm sure some people have their own opinions or their own theories or a similar theory. Or some people probably don't believe in me. Some people probably don't believe in the Patterson footage, which that's okay. That's their opinion. My opinion. I have a right to have my own opinion. You're right to have your own opinion. That's the way you have to look at it, especially when you're doing scientific research. And anyway, I believe that's what happened. I believe Patty was a distraction to Roger and Bob while the male and juvenile relocate and meet up with Patty somewhere else in the area. That's what I believe that happens. And like after the Bigfoot was out of Roger and Bob's outside their minds, out of their view, while later they actually found the footprints, and the footprints I believe were 19 inches, I believe, I'm not too sure, 19 inches I think, the footprints from the heel to the toe. And like I've seen some of the photos they actually took and the casts, and it was just very intrigued. Definitely not a human footprint, definitely a human range, and it's just I was very intrigued and interested by that and stuff like that. And like even before the Patterson footage, in 1958 I think it was, Jerry Koo, he found some footprints in Northern California and around the area, and so was that. He found some big footprints, and that was reported in the news and stuff like that, and all that kind of stuff. And then a few years later, the Patterson footage was taken. So yeah, it will explain why. But basically, after all this research I did, after all watching these other videos and after all researching the Patterson footage and looking at different versions of the Patterson footage and look at the story behind it and what led up to the Patterson footage and stuff like that, I actually honestly believe the Patterson footage is a real footage of a Sasquatch. I believe Roger and Bob got lucky that day, and Roger filmed a female Sasquatch walking to the woods, and I think to this day it's still the best footage. I've seen some other footages that's very good, like the Jacobs photos and the Stacy footage filmed in Florida, the thermal imaging footage. Like that was a great footage. Like that's probably the best thermal imaging footage ever. But color footage and day-wise footage, the past footage is the best, in my opinion. Probably a lot of other people probably agree with me on that. But like with technology getting more advanced now these days and so like that, I hope we actually get better footage of an actual Sasquatch, good HD, non-shaky, good quality footage. Because if we get photographic evidence, if we get DNA samples, or if we get a body, then we can prove the science that Bigfoot is in fact real. It's real as a bear. It's real as a deer. It's real as a gorilla. And speaking of a gorilla, before people believed gorillas just a myth, gorillas ain't real. And then one day it was actually proven that gorillas were real and they were found. So there is no reason why a Sasquatch, a 7 to 8 foot tall primate, some even 9 foot tall, there's no reason to say that it can exist, because if you look at the Pacific Northwest, and if you look at other parts around the world like Asia and stuff like that, and China and stuff, like if you see how dense the mountains and forests are there, there's parts in those mountains and forests that no man has ever ventured to, has ever walked on. So it's so big. I think it's big enough to withstand a population of Bigfoot or Sasquatch and stuff like that. But as far as the Patterson footage goes, it's been around 100 years. It's been around since 1967. It's been around, and it's 2016 now, so it's been around for years, So basically, and with the technology we have, science hasn't proved it's a hoax. But at the same time, and no one has proved that's real either. So we never really know. We have our own opinions and thoughts, but I personally think it's real. And Roger Patterson said in his deathbed that Sasquatches and his film were real. And I believe him. I believe Roger Patterson is telling the truth. I believe Babu Animus and Philip Morris and all those other hoaxer people, they can just flick off because they're all frauds. I believe they filmed Bigfoot. So yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. That was my thoughts on the famous 1967 Patterson footage. My name is Dylan Lee, signing out. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you want to know more about our organization, our link to our Facebook page is in the description below, and I will see you guys in the next one. Have a good day.